Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. One of the things that's really quite interesting is during COVID-19, some of us have gone squirrely. Some of us have really rebelled against the self-isolation, and other people have really come into their own. And so I was noticing that a friend of mine, her name is Jaquilyn Holdsworth, has commented about how she sort of found her raison d'etre, found her Ikigai, as I like to call it, which is her meaning, her purpose in life, and that is art. And so I want to introduce you to Jaquilyn and let her tell you her story. Jaquilyn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. So is this one of your paintings in behind you?
It is. Yes, it is.
Fantastic. So tell us what happened. So COVID-19, you found yourself.
Well, pretty much, yeah. So I grew up obviously in an era where the main focus of anybody's career was in an office space and climbing the corporate ladder and the hustle bustle and what have you. So of course I followed suit. That's what my parents instilled in me and what have you. There was no big focus on the arts, although in my heart I always knew that was my passion. We actually relate through the Arts Council. So I always looked at those artists that were part of that and was so not envious, but just proud of them and wishing I could do something like that. But I'm a mom in the suburbs and got a mortgage and kids, and there was just no time for that. So lucky for me, when COVID did hit, yes, it was a terrible thing. It's been scary and frightening and all kinds of awful for a lot of people. And I tried to take it and see the bright side of it. It gave me some time with my kids and time to focus on what I loved, which was art. So I picked up a paintbrush and I started to paint, and I sort of just haven't put it down. I've made it my full-time career, and I got to think, I've got to see the bright side and all that's going on and say that it really inspired me to make the most of it.
Congratulations. Now, had you tried to paint before?
So in school, it was always my favorite subject. I'd come home with 95% in art. My art teacher, he was really inspiring. He loved what I did, my creativity. But I'd come home to, yeah, but how did you do in math? And how did you do in science? So I sort of put it on the back burner, which, you have to do what you have to do. And you come at life and you're meaning in different ways and from different directions and in different times in your life. And I guess I just sort of found mine now, maybe a little late in life, but never late or never too late. So I've always been an artist at heart. I've always been inspired. I've always been a very passionate, feeling, spiritual person, expressive. And the corporate world, it just wasn't me. And I did very well. And I got some great jobs, got to travel a lot of the world, meet a lot of really great people. But sitting at home in my makeshift studio that we made in my dining room, which was just lovely. We have no dining room any longer. It's an art studio, which has now inspired into my garage, is now my art studio, and it just seems to be getting bigger. But when I started out, my mom actually passed away about a year before COVID hit. It was really hard on me. She was my only artistic inspiration.
Condolences.
Thank you. But life happens, and I can still feel her around, and I felt the overwhelming urge to pick up a paintbrush, which was something I'd sort of put down and just thought, I don't have time for that. I don't get to do that. And I picked it up and I started painting in all the spare time that I had. And it helped me through my grief. My painting started out very dark, sort of depressing, very deep. And I guess I got through my grief through art, because now my paintings, they're very full of life and bright and energetic. And you can actually see the transition from, depression and grief to light and love and a new outlook on life. I've been fortunate enough to have that opportunity through all that's gone on with COVID. I was gifted all this time to realize who I am and, spend time with the ones I love and really focus on what's important, like health.
You were gifted all this time to find out what you love.
Yes. Life gets so busy. You have children and a home and, you focus on them and making dinners and getting them off to hockey practice, and here and there, life isn't about you anymore, right? Especially if you're working a big career and late nights. But that wasn't happening at that point in time because everything was shut down. I was no longer working at my career, so I got to focus on what I loved. And I don't think I ever would have stopped to smell the roses before this. it gifted me that. So I went with it, and now my artwork has started to inspire others, and I've had some people reach out to tell me what they see in the art, and sometimes it's these things that I never saw in my own art, but I love that it means something different to everybody. And it's inspiring, and it inspires me, and it's such a great gift. It's so much more rewarding than coming home with a great big paycheck. And when one of my paintings sells, I like to make sure it goes to a loving home. And, you know, I don't gouge people. I want it to be appreciated and loved. And there's a lot of time and energy and effort that goes into it. But it's not about the money. It's about the passion and what it does for other people, and therefore what it does for me.
We're chatting to Jaquilyn Holdsworth, who says she is that COVID-19 was a gift to her of time to find out who she was and to spend time figuring out what she loves. We're going to take a break for some messages and come back more with Jaquilyn in just a minute. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're chatting about COVID-19 and how with some people it's actually inspired them. And you know, it's interesting because I've spoken to a couple of different artists, performers, rock and roll and classical and other that have said that it's been a time for creativity. And Jaquilyn Holdsworth, who I met through the Mississauga Arts Council at one point in time, you know, very involved in the corporate world, decided that she wanted to become an artist and that it's her passion. And what she said earlier in the show was that it was a gift of time for her to figure out what she loved. And I think that is so profound that, you know, what a different attitude than all these other people who've been complaining about COVID-19. I spoke with someone earlier today who said that it was a gift of time for them to renovate their house. And someone else said that it was a gift of time to think about how digital transformation would occur and that they were going to be forced to accelerate their learning in that regard. Anyway, you know, it's I think, refreshing to meet someone that sees COVID-19 as a gift to figure what they love. Jaquilyn, tell us more about the paintings that you've made, if you could.
Okay, so again, they started off very dark, obviously from a dark time after losing my mother and this overwhelming urge to pick up the brush. So I'll share with you guys one of the first paintings that I painted, which is my daughter's favorite. It was the first one I ever did. Oh, here you go here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's tough without the light, eh? Oh, this way. So it's sort of a woman
here, but lots of light around them.
It's a woman sort of coming out of darkness with the light trying to shine out of her. It's what I felt at the time. And then
is this a painting of your mother?
Yeah, I wish you could see it a little. I'll try to move it into the
We can
light.
see it fine.
So you can see sort of the light coming out of her chest and out of her arms, and just sort of the light that she brings. So she brought light out of darkness for me. Yep. And this is what this painting represents. A few other pieces that I'm pretty happy with, or that were powerful for me, this was one of my earlier paintings as well. Try to show you it here. So it's a lot of flow and color and energy. Okay, so this is another piece that I quite liked. It's a lot of flow. It just sort of shows how one color flows into the next, how one shape flows into another, how we're all sort of connected. And whatever you're doing or I'm doing or how we express our creativity, it all sort of blends together. And this is my way of expressing how I feel and what I'm thinking and what I see around me at the time.
Can you tell us what is it? Oil? Is it pastel?
Sorry, so these are all acrylic on canvas. Sort of a different type of style, very flowy. I would call it abstract expressionism. In the same regard, through COVID, I guess I'll share you guys this one.
Abstract expressionism.
Yes. So I mean, for example, it's very abstract what I'm painting, which is basically the use of color, shape, technique, texture, and whatnot, put together to sort of put across a feeling or a state rather than painting an actual object or thing. So you're expressing a feeling through all these mediums rather than a feeling through drawing a sad face or a happy smile. Make sense?
Yep. Now,
Okay.
what you're showing us now is a face of a female, is it not?
Oh, yeah. So this is actually a painting of, that is my daughter's eyes that I've tried to paint in there. And it's trying to show youth sort of running through the fabrics of life. It's my daughter's eyes in the painting. And what it is, it's trying to show the perfection of youth. Here is my daughter's eyes, showing her, can you see it?
Yep.
It's my daughter, my young daughter's eyes, and it's supposed to be her youth, but it's going through the fabric of life and the craziness that is the world. Children see things through rose-colored glasses and idealism in many ways. And the reality of life is it's a lot different than that. It's sometimes crazy and strange, and you don't know what you're going to get. You got to hold on to yourself and, just sort of weather through it, I guess. This is one of my favorite first pieces when COVID started. I think it's kind of amusing. Show you it.
Incredible art and colors, but around a gas mask.
Right. So this one is supposed to be Russian dolls falling down. So it's showing all the beauty and color that there is in the world. That again, we're all connected, stacked sort of individuals, and now we're being forced to wear this gas mask, and it doesn't look so pretty anymore. But we've got to stick to who we are and hold each other up rather than letting the dolls fall.
Seems like this has not only taught you something about who you are, but you mentioned connected. We're all connected on several occasions, and positive attitude. It's taught you a lot more than just what you want to do, hasn't it?
I would say it brought it out of me and it allowed me to share it. I've always felt very spiritual and connected and sort of knowing without knowing a lot of things or feelings about people, maybe a little empathetic. And it's just allowed me to realize who I am and that it's okay to express who I am because I've put it on canvas and other people are responding to it. I realized it's okay to be me and be different and express myself the way I express myself rather than the way the world expects me to.
When you wrote your little intro to me, you said that you were an empath. What's an empath?
So an empath is somebody that feels other people's feelings, whether happy or sad, and can almost take on what they're feeling. So there's a lot of times I can be in a large crowd of people and I get almost overwhelmed with other people's feelings, and it's a lot. So I have to choose where I go carefully and the people I surround myself with. I've realized as well, life's very short and time is not unlimited. It's important to choose wisely the people that you're going to surround yourself with, those that give back, those that make sense to your energy. You can't be everything to everyone, and there's just not enough time. So it's okay to cut people loose that just don't belong in your energy field any longer. And therefore it allows time for the people that do. And you can inspire more people and more people can inspire you. It opens up so much for you.
So has COVID-19 time period also taught you about the people you want to spend time with?
Well, definitely. Obviously, it's impossible to get together with large groups of people anymore. So your circles are very small, and it really makes you see who's important to you and who it's important to spend time with. I think we get very caught up in what's going on and how fast-paced things are and with social media and this and that, and you lose touch with what's important and what matters. Well, this has sort of forced us to take a step back and think, okay, so all the money in the world can't buy my health. If I'm spending all my time at the job, I could die tomorrow, or you never know what's going to happen. So you want to spend as much quality time with the people you love as you can. You want to learn as much as you can. So you want to surround yourself with inspiring people, inspiring minds that, are effective to you. And make sure that your time is of quality, because it's not unlimited. And I think it's made us all open our eyes to that.
So many people spend such a long time trying to figure out what their purpose in life is, what the meaning of life is. Sounds like you figured it out.
Only took me a couple of years to do that. Yeah, I think I spent a lot of years spinning my wheels, trying to be big and important. And I realized sometimes small is much more important because your influence is big in your circle. Whereas if you're spinning your wheels in a great big pond where, I don't know, you're just not realizing yourself and your dreams and what you can do for other people, it's not very well spent time.
But you would sort of dabbled in this even in high school.
Definitely, it's always been my passion. But it's very different, I think, nowadays. I look at my kids and the way the world is, and you can become a millionaire making videos about playing video games. You can do anything now. It's sort of, the world's opened up very differently. Whereas when I was little, it was, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a fireman. There wasn't all this. You didn't know how big the world was and how much there was that could be done. And you were sort of taught, like, these are the jobs you have to do. An artist isn't a job, it's a hobby. Well, that's not necessarily true, because in times like this, people want color and beauty and inspiration on their walls. That's more important to them than, I don't know, an extra whatever you make in an office. But sometimes, I mean, everything in life is important. So you're as important as an artist, as an actor, as a shoe polisher, as you are a lawyer or a doctor, or, you know, I'm not saving lives, but.
So I do a speech on a concept called Ikigai or Ikigai. It's a Japanese concept that says that the way you find your true meaning in this life is to find the intersection of four different questions. The first is what you're good at. The second is what you're passionate about. The third is what you can make money at. And the fourth is what the world needs more of. If you find those, then you found the key to success. And the argument is, if you're just passionate about it, it's not enough. You got to also be good at it, and people got to want it. Otherwise, you're not sustainable. Sounds like you've always been good at art. You've always been passionate about art, but now you're finding that you can produce it, sell it, and people love it.
Yeah, I mean, now I've been able to reach out to people through social media, just posting it on social media, until I had people requesting it and making offers on it and requesting. It started out people wanting me to paint individual things that they would like, and I did that, and that was fine. But what I really wanted was someone to see my own art, and the more I did and the more I poured myself into it, the better it got, and I could even feel more from it. And people started to recognize that and reach out. And since I've sold some paintings, definitely, and I want to keep doing this, so I need to expand that. I'm hoping after COVID's all done, I'll take this time to build up the collection and have a show of some sort when this is all said and done, and go from there and expand my horizons. But I'm taking it slowly and appreciating the time. You know, it's gifting me time to put something wonderful together rather than rush something out. But yeah, I never thought I could make money doing what I love.
I think you're an inspiration, and thank you for sharing your passion with us. If people want to reach out to you and check out some of your art, what's the best way? Via Instagram or?
Yeah, currently I would say on Instagram, and that's at Jacksons_wild, at JACKSON_wild, and that's on Instagram, and that's probably the best place right now. It has a connecting site to a different art site, as I'm prone to two different genres, so I like to keep them separate. Yeah, and then from there, I'd also happily link them to a few of the local artists that inspired me and gifted me some information and courage to keep going.
Jaquilyn Holdsworth, thank you so much for joining us tonight and inspiring us about what people can find from their time of isolation during COVID-19 and finding their purpose in life. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good night.